We've seen since the beginning that the convent son Tanko constantly struggles with finances. There's rarely enough money to fix things that are going wrong. But that may be changing because a wealthy gentleman has gone to his reward and left his entire estate to the convent.
We have so many pressing needs.
Like the electrical wiring.
If it's enough to fix that, they'll be happy. So quit keeping us in suspense.
The convent is heir to the Prynne estate. However, Mr. Prynne was a sportsman in every sense of that word, and unfortunately left a great many gambling debts. Now, those debts, in addition to federal estate tax, death tax, probate, and general administrative expenses.
Meaning the chunk that goes into your pocket, right?
Have greatly reduced the estate.
Oh, I see.
In fact, the only thing that's left is this.
It's a contract. They now own a prize fighter named Mike Sever, the Buffalo Buzzsaw.
You'll see in those attached clippings that Mike has every qualification to be a leading contender for the championship.
A prize fighter? But we cannot own a prize fighter.
Oh, but Reverend Mother, you do.
The question isn't do you own him. The question is what do you do with him? He's flat, broken, homeless.
I guess I could sleep outside. I mean, it don't get cold like it does in Buffalo. And out there in the jungle, I suppose I could get by on wild fruit. Berries, stuff like that.
Oh, there's a wild banana grove about 10 miles from here.
Not helping, Sister. Sister Bertrill points out that the gardener's shed isn't occupied at the moment and he has nowhere else to go and no one else to turn to. Plus, they do own him, so he can stay for now.
And he was charming. Industrious. Wonderful with the children. And a great cook. We were all skeptical at first.
Hey, Mikey, I think she likes it. He's insisting on doing almost all the cooking as well as serving.
%50 for us, 50% for him.
He's a big boy. He needs his nourishment. And besides, you don't trust a chef who isn't crazy about his own cooking. But even with all that, both his presence and his contract are impossible to maintain. They have to do something with him. Sister Bertrill is on it.
You inherited a prize fighter? Ooh, it might be a great idea. If anybody ever needed a full-time bodyguard, it's you. Maybe now I don't have to spend all my time trying to get you out of trouble. What's his name?
Mike Sever, the Buffalo Buzzsaw.
Oh, the Buffalo Buzzsaw? I never heard of him.
Carlos suggests they just give him his freedom, let him take his contract, and go find a real manager. He doesn't want it. He'd rather bake the Dutch chocolate cake he promised Sister Anna. Plus, he hasn't had a bout in 2 years, and he's out of shape.
I am not assuming any responsibility.
We're prepared to give you 25% of Mike's contract.
Sister Bertrill, in school, I got my best grades in arithmetic. 25% of nothing is nothing.
And nothing is exactly what he wants to have to do with all this. Include him out.
Okay, thanks anyway. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, you're giving up?
I didn't really expect you to help us out this time, Carlos.
But you never give up.
Well, Mike's our responsibility. I'll train him and set up his fights.
What do you know about training a boxer?
Sometimes she plays him like a fine guitar. Carlos used to do some boxing, so they're off to the convent to get Mike in shape.
Hi, where's Mike? He's in the kitchen.
In the kitchen?
Yes, food's his thing.
Well, I'm going to put him on a very strict diet.
You knew it was going to happen, and she made you laugh anyway. That's part of the magic of this show. Sister Bertrill takes charge of Mike's training while Carlos works on getting him a match. During a run, the wind carries her into the air, and now he knows she can fly, and it's meaningless and never comes up again. As I've said before, it's the name of the show, so they have to shoehorn it in there somewhere. At least somebody thinks so. But now he needs a sparring partner. Fortunately, Carlos can't say no to Sister Bertrille.
Don't hold back. I can look up for myself. You're too fast for me. Come on, try to hit me. Even when I open up, you don't hit me. Yeah, I'm saving myself. For Christmas? Come on, hit me. Well, I have to. Yes, that's an order from your manager. Hit me.
He's got a terrific punch. Carlos says, honestly, that he never felt a thing. He was there and then he was on his back. He just has one bit of advice for Mike.
When you are in the ring, don't wait until the other guy begs you to hit him.
Good advice, because he's probably not going to be waiting for you to beg. There's a night of boxing coming up, and Carlos managed to wedge Mike into a bout with a guy known in Spanish as the Butcher. He says the guy is good, but Mike is probably better. And he put the word out that there's going to be a hot new commodity on the card.
Does Michael know who he is going to fight?
A man by the name of El Carnicero.
El Carnicero? But that means...
What's in a name, Reverend Mother? Carlos says he isn't too good.
Have you told Michael?
No, I haven't seen him yet. I'll tell him at lunch. Carlos says there ought to be a couple of top promoters at the fight, and we'll be able to sell his contract to one of them.
I foresee trouble.
The show uses the overheard something out of context trope a lot, but they use it skillfully. I think that's why nobody minded.
Excuse me, Reverend Mother, but he's gone.
We look low and high.
Yes.
Well, maybe he just went into San Juan.
His suitcase is gone.
Maybe he took some powders. Took a powder.
That's exactly what he did. Weigh-in is the next morning, and if he's not there, it's going to go very hard for Carlos. She can't let that happen. They have to find him. Fortunately, Sister Bertrille has a fair idea where he might be. With his appetite, he's going where he knows there's food. And we remember how Sister Sisto told him about this wild banana grove. Sister Bertrille simply asks him, why?
You know, I thought you people were different. I mean, I felt like we were good friends. Almost like family. But you was just building me up so you could peddle me for a few bucks.
It's not surprising that he thinks that, considering how the rest of his life has gone.
What did I expect? Anytime anybody ever treated me nice, I found out sooner or later it was just so they could get a better price for me. You know, I've been sold and traded so many times, I can't even remember how many managers I had. One time they even traded me as down payment on a horse.
Nobody's ever treated him as anything but a commodity. Down payment on a horse, which means the horse was worth several times more than he was. I can't imagine how that must have felt. If only he had learned to run fast on all fours.
Honestly, Mike, I only wanted to help you. We all did. The only reason we set up this fight was to try and interest the right manager. Somebody to take care of you, build you up, maybe even give you a chance at that big title someday, like in the clipping, you know? If we got enough money to take care of that old electrical wiring system, fine. But our main concern was just to do what we thought would be best for you.
He needs to remember that she tried to hand him his contract and set him free, and he refused. That should prove she's not in it for the money.
But, sister, fighting isn't what's best for me. I never wanted to fight.
You don't want to fight?
I hate it. I'm scared. I'm not of getting hurt myself, but of hurting the other guy.
That's why he was so reluctant to hit Carlos. It's not Carlos, it's everybody. He doesn't want to inflict harm. That's why he only won 3 fights. The rest of the time, he just stands there and lets the other guy beat on him. He has a few scars to show for it, but in his mind, it's better than seriously hurting someone else.
Couldn't you give him that old 1-2 punch? I mean, Carlos said he didn't feel anything, and it seems like a more merciful way out, just 1-2.
She's not wrong, but he feels awful every time he hits somebody.
Mike, if you feel that way about it, why didn't you quit fighting a long time ago? Get some other kind of a job.
Like what?
I would think that's obvious, but he'll have to discover it for himself.
I never even finished high school. I'm big and I'm dumb, so I end up in a ring. And even there, I'm no good.
I didn't finish high school either. It's not a sentence to get beaten up for the rest of your life. It's an obstacle, and any obstacle can be overcome. But as someone once said, you have to get your want to going. If the want to isn't running, the vehicle isn't going anywhere. When it comes to boxing, he just doesn't have the want to. We know what he really wants, but he'll need a little more time. She understands his point of view and won't push it.
It was almost noon the next day before Sister Bertrille was able to get through to Senor Ramirez.
Carlos, he can't fight.
Of course he's going to fight.
He doesn't want to. He hates it. He explained it all to me. You'll just have to cancel him out or
He
something.
weighed in 30 minutes ago, and he looks great.
She's doing it again. She's going to leave Mike better than she found him. But first, let's see how he does in this fight.
There's Mike.
I'm praying for him.
Oh, no.
Of all the times.
Oh, dear.
I'll fix it. I'll fix it.
There.
Now, has the fight started yet?
Come on, come on.
Did you see that?
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. What happened?
1-2, just 1-2, and El Carnicero was down for the count.
It hasn't started, it's over. He says this may be the shortest bout in history. Mike took her advice and made it quick. Later, El Carnicero will say, just like Carlos, that he never felt a thing. And the announcer will say he could swear that when Mike threw the punch, he had his eyes closed.
Here's your share of the purse, Reverend Mother.
Thank you, senor.
Also, we have 3 firm offers for Mike's contract. We can play them off against each other.
I want you to have my share of the purse, too. Use it to fix the wiring.
Thank you, Michael.
Oh, Mike, that's so nice of you. Isn't that nice of him, Carlos?
Very nice. Oh, here's my share, too.
As I said, she plays him like a fine instrument, and she's not above a little generosity shaming. But now, about Mike's contract.
I promised these 3 parties how much you're asking for Mike's contract.
Senor Ramirez, we have decided not to sell Michael's contract.
But the whole purpose of the fight was...
We're giving Mike his contract. He can negotiate for himself.
This time he'll accept it, but we're not done dropping surprises on Carlos.
I want to work for you.
For me? But I'm not interested in handling a fighter.
Well, he doesn't want to be a fighter. He's retiring from the ring.
I want to be a chef in your restaurant.
That took long enough. And if Carlos doesn't have a spot for him, he can help him find a position with one of the other operations.
Well, I don't know.
Carlos, you can trade in the punching bag and the gloves for a chef's outfit and some souffle dishes. Carlos, have I ever asked you to do anything you ever had any reason to regret?
Let's go.
She might not like the answer to that, but as usual, Carlos will find it easier to just go with it. Mike worked for Carlos for many years, but eventually decided he wanted a quieter life. So he moved to Cabot Cove, Maine, where he got a job as the local sheriff. He said it was the easiest job he ever had because some writer woman was always sticking her nose into his cases and doing all the hard stuff for him. Nice work if you can get it. If you enjoyed this, please click the like button to let me and YouTube know you want to see more. If you're not subscribed yet, punch me in the mask here and get signed up so you don't miss a thing, because something is always happening here at Irving Zoo. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Mike Sever, the show you... don't whistle. He needs to... But now, about Mike's contract. I can say about. And it doesn't even come out of boot.